Ladies and gentlemen, we're moving into the second set of the Pro League Finals between Whirlwind Stars and STX Soul, spawning in the top left-hand position, the ace player from Whirlwind Stars as the yellow Zerg gets SoulKey.
But his opponent is also the ace player from STX Soul, spawning as Red Terran on the bottom right position of Whirlwind. His name is Innovation.
It looks like these guys starting to develop a bit of a rivalry. They constantly hit each other in tournaments, it seems.
You know, it's between SoulKey and Innovation. It's always between Whirlwind Stars players and STX Soul players.
Yeah, that's what it's come down to here tonight at the finals between these two teams. And of course, STX Soul, they did manage to win in the first set. Mini defeats Bravo on Aquilon Wastes with some excellent DT usage and overall better composure, I feel.
Yeah. And you know what's funny? It's been always about KT Roaster and SK Telecom T1 and Brood War. Seems like we have a different era in Starcraft2. Yes, those two teams still have the rivalry going on, but we have a different rivals now. We have Whirlwind Stars and STX Soul, the first two top teams in Starcraft2.
Yeah, interesting statistics here. It looks like SoulKey led 4-1 over Innovation when it came to Starcraft1, but in Starcraft2, it's kind of an opposite. It's actually, I think, 4-11 with Innovation in the lead. So he's I don't know, technically the heavy favorite here, but still, SoulKey, he is the best Zerg in the world, and he's playing against the best Terran in the world, Innovation.
And remember, back in Brood War, he wasn't playing the best Terran in the world. He was playing against Bogus, not
right.
Innovation.
That's true. Bogus is Innovation's old name. He changed it, and he gained superpowers when he moved over to StarCraft 2.
You know, IDs matter a lot. You know, Beast is... just talking about Abiso a little bit, you know, his name actually means dagger, and he's slashing everyone with the DTs. Flash, well, I don't know how his name works, he just got himself. But if you look at Innovation, back in Bogus, he was doing really well. He was considered one of the better rookies, but he never really performed well. And one of the reasons, apparently from one of the reporters in Korea, is that he... Whoa, hold on a second. Is that what I think it is?
That is actually triple hatch before pool. What an opening from SoulKey. That build takes a lot of brass to use.
Oh. And you know what's also fantastic about this? He scouted the right top position to make sure that his opponent did not spawn close to the 12 o'clock expansion, to make sure that he can get away with the 3 hatch without his opponent moving out on the map with few Marines and SCVs.
Oh, yes, he gets
my
the SCV!
God! I don't know what's up with SoulKey and this map. Remember, when Innovation was doing well and WCS GSL going into the finals, SoulKey defeated Innovation on this map, went to the finals and defeated against Innovation 4-3. Whirlwind once again, and SoulKey already has the advantage. Like you said, SCB has been taken down. The third hatchery has gone unscouted.
He's going to get away with it. SoulKey is going to get away with the opening, and with killing off one of the SCVs earlier on in the match, things are just looking great for him in the early game, and you know, the hatchery has just been scouted. Innovation will be able to confirm the opening from his opponent SoulKey momentarily here with that scouting SCV.
Oh my god, I'm so surprised that Innovation actually lost the SCV early in the game.
Yeah, well, he is going to go ahead and grab a third command center behind this. Yeah, I guess knowing that, oh, okay, I can get away with this. Yeah, I see what you're up to anyway. And this is what happened when players get so good, they end up playing greedier and greedier against each other, and that they scout, they're like, all right, well, we're just going to kind of jumpstart this. It reminds me of Flash and Jaedong back in the day in Brood War. The players, you know, so top players that they almost had a metagame of their own.
Yeah, and I like this play from SoulKey. Remember, a lot of players have been saying, if my opponent plays greedy and is fantastic players such as Flash and Innovation, there's only 2 ways to defeat them. 1, go for a cheese and pretty much kill them when they go for the 15cc, or 2, play more greedy than my opponent, get a lot of economy behind my back, and just storm in with massive amount of units.
Indeed. All right, we have 2 gases being taken for SoulKey at the natural. Going to start moving, you know, into a little bit of tech here. He's got a great economy behind this, you know, just pumping out some queens, his drones. You know, excellent condition as well. Innovation, though, I mean, he did lose the early SCV, but he's going to get the 3rd command center up, and his economy will be in a pretty good spot as well. But definitely SoulKey going to be the one with a bit of an edge. Yeah, in fact, having the 3 hatcheries and getting away without any harassment early in the game, that's fantastic for a Zerg player, you know. When you're playing Zerg, when you try to go for a 3 hatch before pool, you get scared a little bit. What if my opponent scouts it with the SCV? And that's the reason why players go for the 3rd hatchery a little bit later into the game, playing a standard game. But SoulKey had to
SoulKey had the guts to go for a 3-hatch before pull, and it worked out perfectly. Innovation, yes, he knew exactly what his opponent was going to do after not scouting any gas at the natural and inside the main base, but he is slightly behind in economy against his opponent, but certainly not out of it just yet.
All right, well, we do have Zergling's speed on the way. Innovation starting double upgrades, getting a few Hellions behind this, and continuing to add a few barracks on as well. SoulKey going to be starting his upgrades momentarily here as well. And as you can see with the scouting Hellions as well, those are going to be able to confirm that third base as well. And actually, look at this, 3 Spore Crawlers on the way. I guess that SoulKey really expected some type of Banshee play from Innovation or some type of drop play, but that's clearly not the case here.
Well, remember, he did open up a little bit greedy, which means he needs to spend a little bit more into defense because he can be a little bit more vulnerable early into the game. But now he scouts for Command Center, knows that there's not going to be any early pressure except for a few Marines in the game, so now he's getting the layer and he can drone up heavily behind this.
Yeah, so Innovation going to be pretty happy, or excuse me, SoulKey going to be very happy seeing that third Command Center there as well. And a few more Hellions moving towards the center of the map here. Innovation wants to get a little bit of map control, but, the thing with Zerg players is if you let them, get up that early economy, then they just kind of, they grow uncontrollably. The creep goes everywhere. They have so much economy, and Innovation, he's going to have to deal with this very soon.
Yeah, and look at this. In StarCraft2, you can just inject larva, which means that you're going to have a lot of larva. We're only 9 minutes into the game, and he has a lot of creep tumors around the main base. And even scratching a few drones at this point is not going to be worth it because he can just make 2 times more drones after Hellions roast like 2 or 3 at one time.
Supernova Maniac, we have a lot of Zerglings on the way. I saw up to 28 in production at one point here. And this is going to give a lot of map control to our Zerg player SoulKey.
And this all stems from the fact that he took the third base early on, and he was able to take advantage of that right now. We do have this the speed for the Baneling starting just right now. It's not going to get finished for a long time, but certainly he has a lot of Zerglings.
About those links. Yeah. And the Hellions are going to yeah, so the Zergling's not being too effective at this point. I like that Innovation is also keeping those Hellions alive as well for defense, because he knows Whirlwind, this is a map that SoulKey can move all around the place, go for tons of counterattacks, and he's just saying, you know what, I'm not going to let you get away with that in the earlier stages of the match.
And in fact, when Innovation lost to SoulKey previously on this map, he lost the exact same way. He allowed SoulKey to go for the Zergling run-bys and Baneling run-bys, destroying the command centers and planetary fortress around the map, and eventually Innovation did not have any economy. So this is nice from him right now. He's kind of nice and creep right now, and he's gonna lift away knowing that his opponent does not have any mutas.
Yeah, actually, SoulKey is not really going in the mutas too fast.
Yeah.
Another cool shot of Tossgirl there. I'm actually a little bit worried for Innovation. He doesn't have too many Widow Mines out, and with the amount of Zerglings and Banelings that we're seeing here, essentially the hooks is about to finish. Yes, it's 1-1 completed as well. There's no 2-2 yet for Innovation, and we're seeing just a ton of Zerglings from SoulKey is almost getting a fourth expansion behind this.
I feel like I'm watching Brutal right now because Sauron Zerg, where you just make a lot of units, you don't have to hotkeys, you just drag every single Zerglings and a lot of units to your opponent. And look at this, he's going to slow in with a lot of units right now.
Oh, Innovation doesn't have enough to deal with the Banelings here, though. Widow Mines, they're going to be able to do the amount of damage. But holy crap, Innovation, he's getting run over here. The Baneling's going to crush into the rest of these units, and we can see additional swarms of Zerglings moving and completely obliterate here, forcing the natural command center look. The Baneling's connecting with so many of the SCVs as well. Innovation is in a world of hurt here.
Yeah, he lost a lot of SCVs. Yes, he can defend against the attack, but the problem is SoulKey has a fourth base up behind this. He didn't lose any single drones there, no Hellbats or Marines inside the main base to deal economic damage. And these Zerglings are just buying enough time to make sure the fourth base goes unpunished right now. And he's doing this without the units.
The question is, can this aggression last? Because eventually, if SoulKey can't kill off Innovation, he needs to move into the muted attack. He's continuing to do a great amount of damage at that third base. Continuous swarms of Zerglings moving in towards the natural and third choke. But Innovation, I feel like he's starting to stabilize here. The Baneling hits could change everything over. They're moving in.
Anti-climatic switch right there, but the Banelings... SCVs not split at the last second, and one group of SCVs get taken out easily.
Look at the SCV count now. 54 SCVs to 76 drones. 27 workers have already been killed. And with SoulKey securing a fourth expansion behind this, his creep spread as well still pretty solid on his side of the map. Innovation, he has managed to stabilize here. and also his 2-2 has completed. He's moving up to 3-3, while SoulKey, he's just starting his 2-2 now, so we're kind of in a weird situation at this point.
Yeah, the problem is, like you said, the Zerglings are perfect right now. You can go for the run-bys and destroy command centers, but eventually you need to deal with the main army, and Zerglings and Banelings enough. Those two units are not going to be enough at some point in the game, but these Banelings do a nice job at the natural, killing every single SCD over there, lifting up the command center, also dealing a nice economic damage.
How did the Banelings get in there, man? They just kind of snuck right in, right around Innovation. He somehow missed that despite having control over the center of the map. And Innovation, his army, it's 33 Marines, 7 medevacs, and a handful of Widow Mines to the boot as well. I think that SoulKey, once he gets that Spire completed, once his 2-2 completes, as long as he can get that fast hive, go for the 3-3, he's going to be in such a fantastic late game position.
Yeah, but he needs to make sure these Zergling aggressions put Innovation a little bit out of comfort zone, because remember, once Innovation stabilizes on 3 bases, gets a lot of medevacs out, even when the Zerg player is ahead, Innovation comes back and win the game with nice harassments around the map and perfect split with the Marine control. So SoulKey, he did a nice job. He needs to make sure the aggression doesn't stop with the Zerglings. If it stops for a few seconds, then Innovation, he's gonna find the gap, go for a drop at the 3rd base or inside the main base or 2 places at the same time.
Marcus Moore here gonna easily pick off those White Eagles as well. They're going to try to roll past that army. Not going to happen, though. And look at that. SoulKey completely prepared for these drop defenses as well. The drop of Innovation not going to do anything at all. After lifting that up, he's going to have to try to find another expansion, the drop of his units, and Innovation as well, just playing up a little bit of creep. He's going to spot the Spire as well. But look at this. Already a very fast response from our Terran player. And the Widow Mine, he kills off a great amount of those units. Certainly not a cost-efficient trade whatsoever from SoulKey, but he is still in a pretty solid position overall.
He's only losing Zerglings and Banelings against drops, and if you detonate the Banelings against the Widow Mines and just make sure your drones do not die, that's fantastic. But does he have enough units over at the 4th base to defend against what Innovation has? He needs to make sure that he defends against the attack, but also do not crumble. Because remember, we saw this in TBC, where the Terran player is slightly behind, but once the Zerg player starts to crumble a little bit, the Terran player comes back and win the game. So SoulKey, he needs to play to his style, the Iron Wall Zerg. He needs to make sure that he can defend against multiple attacks at the same time.
All right, this is going to become kind of a tough situation for SoulKey, at least temporarily.
Yes.
3-3 is just completed for Innovation, and he's going to try. SoulKey, he loves to go for these counterattacks here, and the Baneling count, extremely formidable, but there's also multiple Widow Mines as well being burned in this location. As White Eagles get picked off, and SoulKey smartly backs off as well, knowing that he can't deal with that army, but it also forces Innovation to kind of move back.
Yeah, and that's all he wanted to do right now, because remember, when those forces were over at the 4th base, the mutas were done, the Zergling count and the Baneling count was a little bit low, his units were out of position, so he wanted to put Innovation out of position so that he can buy enough time to get the hive out, to get the infestation pit, to get the infestors out. And he did a nice job with a couple of Zerglings, but eventually he needs to face the army from his opponent, and he needs to take it out efficiently.
But both players, ironically, supply blocks in this position, but still formidable armies. Here we are, we have another counter attack from SoulKey as well. He's moving in, excellent control. The splits are good as well, but the Banelings not being able to connect with enough. The Widow Mines certainly doing their job. Look at the position as well. And SoulKey is a massive amount of Banelings and Zerglings as well. The mutas are able to be used as well in the situation, and that's medevacs as well. Innovation is going to press forward, but can he actually take on the Zerg army?
Yeah, well, Hive is almost finished, and so he has to do right now is defend against the attack once, but he's fighting in a small choke, and he's really migrating this really well with a lot of Widow Mines supporting behind him. Look at that split! So perfect from Innovation right now, saves most of the Marines, but remember, because this is 4 hatchery, that's a lot of Zerglings, and now gets perfect around, forces Innovation to pull out with the medevacs.
As well, the Widow Mine hit.
Did not see that on the screen.
Didn't get to see it, unfortunately. Anti-climactic. Looks like it, look at that. 49 workers, man. 49 workers skilled. That's ridiculous. But now the important things to take a look at. 3-3 is going to start momentarily for SoulKey. He already has the +3 armor and the Adrenal Glands upgrade for the Zerglings underway. 12 Banelings in production. That hive, of course, is completed. and SoulKey can eventually move into a solid late game composition. He is on 4 bases. Innovation, though, is taking his 4th base as well, and he's continuing to pressure SoulKey at this expansion.
And remember, when the Zerg player tries to go for a different composition, that means that he needs to have less Zerglings and less Banelings. That's when the Terran player goes for the attack. So SoulKey wants to make sure that he finds some nice timing to switch out of the Zergling Baneling mid attack. But killing the few SCVs doesn't really matter because Terran players have mules.
Oh! Widowmine hit goes off. It's in that amount of damage as well, so that was picked off. I love the positioning here. Innovation.
Yes.
That small choke with the Zerg player is forced to attack into. And the Widowmines as well helping out a lot against losing mix. Making it really annoying, but I think SoulKey, yeah, the game should be able to connect here, but we're seeing a rising amount of Marauders coming at it to the mix. SoulKey, he needs to start going for the ultra-list aggressive composition.
And where the minutes they need to come back from behind, but the Widowmines are in position. He needs to make sure those Marines do not move forward, but with the Zerglings and the Banelings almost gone. Innovation, if he just has one better split, then he can just move up and finish the hatchery.
This is starting to look bad for SoulKey. Innovation continuing to press forward. The medevacs, they're forced to attack now as well. The Banelings pressuring forward as well, hitting most of those units. There's actually not a lot left, but he's trying to focus fire down. I think the hatchery, no, he's not. Actually, he's just trying to attack whatever they can. And look at this, SoulKey, can he defend against this attack? The Marauder count still very large here, and the hatchery
gets taken out. Yeah, that's a high Marauder count right now, and the Banelings were only connecting to the Marauders, and here's the problem. The Marauders are just pushing forward. They're not dying because of the high medevac count. The Marines are just pointing from the ground. And with the point hatchery down, he's going for the natural. The Widowmines are in perfect position, and there's only mutants within the main army right now. No Zerglings, no Banelings. Even Innovation is dropping man and mules against his opponents.
But I think this may be lights out. GG is called. Wounded Stars suffering a 2nd loss in a row. Innovation once again defeating SoulKey.
Like I said, Innovation is a guy, yes, he can lose a lot of SCVs early in the game, but if you do not keep the constant pressure up, then you need to get far ahead of your opponent. As Innovation, if Innovation cracks the defense of the Zerg player once, then the game is over.
Yeah, so, you know, going into this, I knew it would be a really close match, but Innovation, he's won that 2nd game. STX Soul is looking very strong. It seems like Wounded Stars, they threw their best player against their best player, and SoulKey, he lose, man, he lost.
Yeah, Innovation did a nice job at the 4th base. You know, the Widowmines that you saw around the 4th base are perfectly split. It seemed like we were watching Flash from the earlier TVZ days where he was using a lot of Widowmines and they were always in perfect position. Innovation was fighting cost efficiently, and we saw SoulKey throwing away some Zerglings and Banelings earlier on. Yes, that was okay, but at some point he lost too many Zerglings, and that pretty much allowed Innovation to push up, take out the 4th hatchery, and SoulKey has nothing to rely on at that point.
Yeah, dude, so I love that Innovation lost so many SCVs and it like didn't even matter at all. It's like, oh, you kill a lot of SCVs, good for you. Like, that's not actually going to change how I play at all. You're not going to delay anything.
I got mules. I'm just going to drop him, and my economy is so fantastic.
No, we did. I feel like SoulKey, he needed to get the mutas out faster, or he needed to go for a faster hive. There's the Terran, when they hit the 3-3 late game composition, and they can constantly keep the pressure on their opponent, and the medevac count as well. It's just, you need something more than Zergling, Baneling, Muta to deal with that army composition. So now we have the score 2-0 for STX Soul. We're going to go ahead and introduce our next 2 players here. We have SOS playing against Deer, the 2 second ace players for each team. I guess the backups should, the main ones falter. And we have to go into a quick commercial break, guys. But when we get back, we're going to have set 3 on Core Hall Floating Island, SOS versus Deer.